Hobby Quick Hits. Delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 188 of Hobby Quick Hits. Today's episode, recently did two shows kind of close to each other, so kind of do a card show review that we do from time to time, and also a little bit of the state of the hobby, kind of the things I'm seeing through the card shows, but not just at the card shows alone. So kind of a card show review / State of the Union, if you will. So, with that being said, let's start the show.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi, this is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Max.
Hey guys, it's Max from Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo and Valparaiso. Bringing you guys the weekly releases for these next 2 weeks here. Starting off on the 23rd, we have 2024 Futura World Unique Soccer. And on the 25th, we have 2024 Keepsake Bruce Lee 50th Anniversary Collection. 2023-24 OPG Platinum Hockey. 2023-24 Panini Phoenix Basketball. 2024 Panini Donruss Elite Football. 2024 Upper Deck Portfolio Golf. And on the 27th, we have 2024 Topps 5-Star Baseball, 2024 Leaf Electrum Football, 2023 Panini National Treasures Football, and on the also 2023-24 Topps Mercury Victor Wembanyama Basketball and Topps Chrome Basketball Sapphire, and 2024 Topps Chrome Baseball Sapphire. On the 2nd of October here, we have 2024 Bowman Chrome Baseball Mega, 2023-24 Panini Noir Basketball, 2023-24 Topps UEFA Women's Champion League Chrome Soccer, and on the 4th, we also have 2024 Panini Origins Football, 2024 Panini Prism Collegiate Draft Football, and 2023 Leaf Perfect Game Baseball Bonus Box. Thank you guys for tuning in on the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
Let's go round the Hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out.
It's showtime.
Showtime as in Shohei Ohtani, the first ever 50-50 guy. 50 homers, 50 steals. I've been a baseball fan since the late 70s, early 80s, if you will. And I never thought we'd see a 50-50 guy. So, incredible feat. I've talked about him before. He's going to be arguably, barring injury or a major setback, one of the greatest players of all time. And he had one of the best seasons of all time. He had one of the best games of all time to get to 50-50. 6 for 6, 3 dingers, 2 steals, 4 runs, and 10 ribbies. It takes guys 2-3 weeks to get those kind of numbers. He did it in a 3-hour span. Just an incredible player. And he hasn't even pitched this year. And he had one of the most incredible seasons. And, makes you wonder, is it worth risking injury pitching to not have him in the batter's box? And that's a question for another day. But obviously, as a result, his cards have always been in demand, but just went to the next level. You'll hear me in the main topic segment. I just did some shows, and recent accolades have really put a dent in my Shohei inventory, if you will. So congrats to him. The whole gambling thing, I think I've said it before. I'm not going to shy away from it. I think there's a cover-up going on because I think baseball knows he's kind of the face of the league right now, and you got other young stars, but he's the man of the moment, and I hate to think that way, but that's my honest opinion. New Topps product. So kids, save your money. It's only $8,000 a box. Ask mom or dad for a raise in your allowance. It's called the Mercury product, which is they're going to release more of these, especially with their exclusive athletes. In this case, it's Victor Wembanyama. It's 8 cards in the box, so $1,000 per card. All 8 cards are encased in a Magtite, sealed. 2 autos guaranteed per box. Geez, thanks Topps for $8,000. I would hope so. There are dual autos with chases with numerous other players and Wemby, but the big one being the first Wemby LeBron James dual auto cards coming out on October 9th. So kids, again, save your money. But this Mercury product, they're going to use it on first-year players. So, it's going to be high. Not going to be. It is high-end, and to each their own, right? But $8K a box. All right. Speaking of Topps, they're voting for the number 1 card in the year 2025 flagship box, which is not $8,000 a piece, thankfully, is open. They have 1 candidate from each team. I believe the 3 contenders in my mind for number 1 is the man we just talked about, Shohei. I think Bobby Witt Jr. also has a shot, an outside chance, and Paul Skeens from the Pirates. But I got a feeling you're going to see Shohei as the number 1 card on the 2025 Topps product. But if you don't want him to be, go out there and get voting for other candidates you feel you would rather see. Mattel, we had Monopoly Prism. Now we have Mattel Football Uno. Now it's still the game. They're just using the NFL players' likenesses on the Uno cards. So it's not exactly like the Prism Monopoly with packs and that sort of thing. But it'll be interesting to see if at all these cards, people list these. Well, I'm sure they'll get listed, but if there's any secondary market for individual cards from the Mattel Uno set, we'll have to wait and see there. And we'll close with the CGC has opened their full-time residence in the Fanatics Collect vault in Tigard, Oregon, formerly PWCC. They have a full-time operations. Fanatics Collect members can submit cards for grading and storage at the Fanatics Collect vault there if you so choose. They also offer a cheaper version where you don't get a grade, but they'll authenticate the card as real for, I think, $3, $4, or $5 somewhere around that price level. So there's this week's.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, got a couple shows to kind of weigh in on, give my observations. These will be from a dealer perspective as I set up at both of these shows. So both shows very good. Let's start with the first one. We'll go in chronological order. September 8th at the New York State Fairgrounds in Syracuse, New York. I always refer to this as my home show. It's 4.5 miles from my house to the New York State Fairgrounds, and it was the last show at the fairgrounds. These collector fests were April 21st, so not quite 5 months, but almost 5 months, a couple weeks shy of five months. So a lot of the locals here in the Syracuse area were chomping at the bit for the fairground show. Now there is another Syracuse show, a smaller one in a hotel. Not my favorite. I usually don't even go, and not usually. I don't set up, and I don't even go, even from a collector's perspective. So, those that really look forward to this show had almost a 5-month wait from the last show to the September 8th show, and it was apparent. A lot of people were there, a lot of people buying. It was my second best show of the year, very close to being my best show of the year. So it comes in at second place by probably $50. That's how close it was. So a lot of SGC submissions, sold some big cards. Traffic was good, and goes to show you sometimes if you don't oversaturate shows, right, you'll get that sort of response. It's that balancing of the scales, if you will. So let's go to the show I just completed, September 21st, so a couple weeks later. The monthly show that I do in Watertown, New York. SG Subtable was pretty steady. Didn't break any records there, but solid and steady. And had a really good show on my card side of things for selling cards. And I've changed my setup, folks, how I do it. I'm using the card catalogs from BCW, replaced some of these smaller boxes, and I've really gone all plastic. I don't have any cardboard boxes anymore on my tables. So went plastic. It's more durable, more rugged. I can get a little more physical carrying the stuff around. I don't have to worry about boxes falling apart or replacing. And again, a very strong show. Otani, as you might imagine, was the man of the hour, so quite a bit of Otanis. That became hard to say. But I also sold quite a bit, like the days leading up to that show on, selling platforms. So I have a decent amount of Otani inventory, but not as much now, because between selling what I had at the show and the days leading up to the show online, really put a dent in my Otani inventory. And I don't put everything out, so I have some kind of in reserve that I'm probably holding on to long term, if you will. CJ Stroud was another popular player where people asked for, and as always, I sold a lot of vintage. And it's getting harder to replace, raw sort of off-grade vintage. So I'm going to have to try to get some lots of those and kind of replenish my boxes, if you will. And, the new setup, I take up less table space, so I'm able to put more stuff out. It's easier to set up and unload. I used to be the last one out of shows. I'm no longer that, and that's an accomplishment in itself. I'm actually, the guys I usually set up with, especially at the Watertown show, we're almost leaving at the same time, and usually I'm an hour behind them. So I've made some changes to the show setup, what I use, how I set up, and it's made a world of difference time wise, and that's nice. It's nice to sort of be able to hit the road when the show finally is over, sooner than, comparatively speaking, to what I usually do. And especially with the Watertown, it's an hour drive home for me. So the earlier I get on the road, the better. But not a deal breaker either way. So 2 good shows in a row. I got a couple weeks off from the show circuit to kind of restock, reload, and get ready for the next shows. If anyone listening, I rarely do this, but if anyone listening has some vintage stars and semi-stars raw, they don't have to be gradable shape, especially in lots. Contact me or the show social medias, and see what we can get a deal done. There's a plea for restocking by me. So if you think you might be able to help, let me know. Stars and semi-stars, I'm not looking for commons, but if you got something, I also peruse the message boards or the Facebook selling groups, but again, let me know. But so 2 great shows. Got a little break here Let's talk a little bit. I kind of like the title of the show, right? A little State of the Union. Topps Composite came out, which is their unlicensed football brand. It features some rookies and veteran retired players with no logos, although some logos sort of partially shown, which I find interesting. When I know we talked about it on Hobby Hotline that, if Panini would have done something like that, there'd be lawsuits and injunctions to stop the sale and all that stuff. But Topps, and I feel the reason is obvious, they're at the same table with the players and the players union. No one's going to say anything. And so kind of a double standard, but that's where we are, right now with, fanatics about to really take a 75% stranglehold, if you will, in the hobby. We're closer to that now, obviously, than we've ever been. We're a year or two away, and closer. Panini starting to wrap up their NIL deals, which they have to do, because they're going to survive, right, in some form or capacity and function. So they're looking, long term to try to survive, and they will. They'll just be a different type of company. So the landscape is changing quickly. Whether you like it or not, I tell collectors, right? I don't open much new stuff anymore. I mentioned the composite. I haven't opened any. I've seen it. Someone gave me some Steeler cards at the show because they know that's my favorite team from that product, but I haven't opened it personally. And if you don't like what's going on, there's other ways to hobby. Like for me, I'm really I've always been vintage, but I've really slanted heavily more so than ever before, folks, on the vintage side of the house. So I could say the new terrain doesn't affect me, but I love the hobby. I do content creation. We got to talk about it. It does affect me in the fact that I'm passionate and I care about it, right? I want to see the best that can happen to the hobby. It doesn't always work out like that, but if you don't enjoy the new stuff, buy stuff that's been already printed, as I pretty much, not 100%, but almost 100% do. And whatever you have to do to enjoy the hobby, there's multiple ways to do it. More break-ins, it seems like every week, including one of the sponsors of this show, right, the Sports Card Shop, for this, I believe, the second time their New Buffalo, Michigan store was broken into. And you're just hearing that, again, way too much. And as people more aware of what these cards are worth or potentially worth, these stores are targets. And it's sad because, people, as a former store owner, which I was, you work hard to build your store, build your inventory, build your business. Many people who own stores, this is their full-time job. This is their livelihood. And to see someone just come in and take that away or try to take some of that away, it just really pisses me off, pardon my French. And even though it's not my stuff, it's just the whole premise of it. And we need to get more, local laws and federal laws. We need to get tougher laws. You read a lot of times, even when they catch these perpetrators and committers of these crimes, they get slaps on the wrist. And so there's no deterrent, right? There's no deterrent for people who see that to not try it themselves. And we need to get stronger penalties for thefts and things like that. Until we do, we're going to probably continue to see a rash of burglaries, and sad to see. And I root for every LCS owner out there that it doesn't happen to you. So going back to some local news, I mentioned that Watertown show is a monthly show I do. Watertown, New York, north of me here in Syracuse, about an hour. In November, they got JSA appearing at their show, and so that will be pretty neat. I just bought a collection. If you follow me on social media, you saw pieces of it. I did post it. Some Mantle autos, and there was a Lou Gehrig cut auto that looks legit, but again, I got to get it authenticated. So I'm going to use that Wednesday, that November appearance by JSA to get some of that collection authenticated. And going back to that collection, I don't think I've talked about it on the show, but I thought it was going to be more cards, and then when I got there, it was more autographed memorabilia. There was some cards, nothing crazy to write home about, but there was some. And so I got a pretty decent deal on it. I normally don't like to buy memorabilia, but it was too good of a deal to not do. And a couple Billy Joel autos in there. You got a lot of I'm a huge Billy Joel guy, so those were in there, and probably 200 to 300 autographed 8x10s. There were some Perez Steel autograph cards. I think I'm very comfortable saying I think a good percentage of it is legit. And there were 7 Mantle autos. 5 of them look real to me. 2 are questionable nature, but we'll get those verified. I talked about the Lou Gehrig cut auto. There's some other stuff. There's a Jim Brown signed book that the seller told me that she got that signed in person, so it's 100%. Again, that'll probably be something I just get authenticated for authenticity purposes, obviously. So that November appearance by JSA in the Watertown show, which is a small show, so it's kind of cool that they're coming to that show. How often they do, I don't know. We'll see, but that it's perfect timing for me to get some of that stuff sort of authenticated, and the stuff that is going to get resold, come to market with it. So that kind of wraps up my show review. We touch a little bit on some of the things going on in the hobby. Let's keep this episode short and sweet. Plus I'm pretty tired. It was a busy weekend. Syracuse football, then following the show, and so time to refresh and get charged for the new week. And so with that being said, hope you're having fun in the hobby out there. Keep collecting, be happy doing it, and have a great week. We'll see you soon. All right. Thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/SportsCardNationPodcast/ Twitter, we are at SportsCardNati1, so it's SportsCard NATI1. Instagram at SportsCardNationPodcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.